I mean, hey, we 20 games into the season right now. It's felt like it's been a whole season in itself, and there's only 20 games in, man. So, how you feel about it? I remember last time we talked, it was like, for me, it felt like first day of school vibes. I was getting our routine in, going to practice, all this stuff. But you were like, hey, man, it's, I wanted the preseason locked in, so it's game 20 now.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I mean, like I say, every time I do an interview, like after practice or something, I'm just like, you're going to look up, we 20 games in. You look down, look up, we 20 more games in. And that's how I feel like we 20 games in and everything just feels like a blur. You lock into your routine. You look up, All-Star break gonna be here. You know what I mean? So I like to get into that flow state as soon as possible, and that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I mean, flow state, bro. You've been playing pretty well past few.
I would say coming off a 35 ball.
Yeah.
Good time in Detroit. Really good time in Detroit.
Yeah, I was about to say, showing them young boys what it is.
That was fun.
Flow state is it's something that I feel like I can see you getting into now on the court. Like I know we've talked about it or whatever, but it's like when I see you're in that, I'm like, yup.
Yeah, how does that feel to be like that in the game, where it's like just everything, just like you just know that it's like, I don't know.
You got to get there,
right?
And I think getting there is, as I've found out, for me, getting there is just thinking about nothing, and like I've always tried to outthink the game or overthink the game, and the game has become so simple for me because I'm going in it with the mentality of I'm just going to play hard and think about nothing on the offensive end. And then I find myself into that flow state, and you look up, halftime's there, you got 15-8, and it's just like a loud 15-8.
Right.
To where, coming into the start the third, I can get right off where I left off and be 21 points just like that. And it's just, I'm just flowing. Like I ain't thinking about it, I'm just playing. And the sooner you get there throughout the game, the better. And just what is it, 9 years for me? I feel myself getting there when I want to, right. More often than, and then when the shots are falling, it's easy too. So
where do you think and I know we know this, but like where did you come up with the whole like thinking about less, like the whole flow state? Like what brought that to mind? Like
what got me? I mean, we talked flow state. I remember we were talking about that, but I want to say tone got me into the space of thinking like nothing.
See, I feel like I remember the exact time where we started thinking.
When was it? Because I think I told him. I really don't recall.
Yeah, so we were. It was All-Star, and we were golfing.
Oh, you're talking about Brooks Koepka.
And you asked me something. You asked me every time we golf. You're like, bro, what are you thinking about? You thinking about like where you hit like the ball, like where your hands?
Yeah,
and I was like, and I told you, I was like, honestly, bro, like I just swing. And you never understood that. And then on the way down to All-Star break, you were watching the Netflix series with Brooks Koepka, and he was like, I think it was like what Scotty Scheffler's thinking about. And he was like, you know what? When I was playing my best, I didn't think about nothing. Right. I bet he's not thinking about nothing. Mm-hmm. And that was like one thing this year that you always, from your IQ, like me, just like being around you, hearing you way you talk about basketball and everything, I learned a lot. And I'm like, holy, like, wow, like you think the game. And your approach this year was just like I'm going to trust my instincts. I'm going to get to this flow state. And I can tell when you get there, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's consistent. People say I'm not consistent, but when you got to take like a lot of things into consideration to get to your flow state, it's like everything working against you, and you're still just trying to get to this place where you can perform your best for the team. So like throughout my career, I've always like had distractions, and I don't want this to bite me in the ass in some way, but just like there's always an excuse, and a lot of the times when it's me, it's an injury or something versus like I'm not performing. Like I'm not performing. Like I'm a performer. Like I'm never just not going to perform. So it's always something that goes into it. If it's a coaching, if it's a rotation, if it's like whatever, just it's always something that could be in the way of that, and people that are in the outside looking in don't really get to see that. And I feel the best ever, and I'm only getting older, so I guess that's how it goes.
Right. How does it feel though playing under like? I feel like it's a different microscope when you play one for the Lakers and two on top of that you playing shit with Bron, where it's like okay, where in Minnesota you can go on a 3-4 game stretch. you know, people talk kind of, but it's like with the Lakers, you damn near analyzed every quarter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how is that difference as a player, I guess, would it say, like approach-wise?
Approach, exactly. You got to have the right approach for that. I look at it as if it's your first time going through it, it's going to be like a shock because it's a lot. But if you prepare for it and you've seen it or you know what to expect, it becomes like a distraction.
Right.
And you look at it like that's your approach. Like, this is a distraction. Lock into what I got to get done. And when you get to that flow state, because now you ain't thinking about the cameras. You ain't thinking about being analyzed the first quarter, the second quarter, what you doing at halftime. Ooh, I got to do this to start the third. You ain't thinking about that.
Right.
You just want to hoop. You just in that place to where, like, all I need is to be on the court.
Right.
And that's always my thing. Like, I just need to be on the court, and I'm going to be ready. So I think that's the right approach, and that's the approach you got to have, especially playing in big markets, big cities where it's a lot going on, and it's easy to be shocked by them bright lights. Like, for real, that's real. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, playing in like a flow state, I would say like that's like playing free, and like it's just like you're letting your instincts take over.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you can think about it too, like from like the whole comedy setup. Like when you're
sure.
up on stage and you like got the microphone in hand, you're just like being you.
100%.
Like that's
Nah, you know when you're in your flow state, even with comedy, where it's like you get up there and it's like how you said, you just stop thinking. I know what my set is. I know where I kind of compare comedy to basketball all the time, where it's like I got my moves. I know what jokes. Oh, this is my
Right.
layup. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm okay. That hit. Let me go shoot a little free throw. Okay, boom.
Heat check.
Got my three. Next thing you know, boom, half court abortion. You know what I'm saying? Triangle. Feel me? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like, oh, I'm getting hot. Feel me?
Yeah.
Heat check.
It's all relatable, though. Everything is relatable, I feel like.
yeah. I mean, I just think that like if you just look at it from like it's like career to career, it's like everyone has it. Like even like with me, like when it comes to video editing or whatever, like there's times I'm locked in the computer and I'm thinking about a million different things, and there's sometimes where I'm just like, this is all. I'm
Where do
thinking.
you find yourself getting into your flow state, though? You got a lot of different things going on. Like, you do a lot of different, like, things. Like, you find it when you're making a video. You find it when you at the game capturing moments. You find it, like, when the moments is just raw and you got the handy cam going, or...
I think it's a lot of like now I find myself like in high pressure situations. It's just like I don't think I just react, and I do, and I really feel like that. And it just in like recent times what I can think of is just like if there's something that needs to get figured out, it's just like okay, screw everything, you're figured out, and I just lock into like that. That is kind of been my flow state lately. But it's always been sitting behind a computer where I have hours to just sit there and just dissect a video and just edit it, because like in the moment, like if having like watching your game, it's like I'm watching your game and I'm filming your game, and it's like
You're not really in the game.
I can't really lock into the game.
makes sense, too.
But at the same time, I'm like kind of locked in. I'm locked in filming, but at the same time, I'm still trying to watch the game because it's like I know we're gonna talk about it. I
Yeah.
know whatever. But yeah, flow state for me is definitely behind a laptop or a computer and locking in.